Dear friends, welcome to another episode of Military Ops. In this video, we'll discuss the executive order signed by Trump declaring a national emergency at the Mexican border and deploying the armed forces to stop illegal immigration. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. On January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump reassumed the presidency of the United States during a period marked by intense debates over immigration and national security. In his inaugural speech, he pledged to restore order and protect U.S. sovereignty, emphasizing that his administration would focus on measures that, in his words, would give the country full control of its borders. With this objective in mind, one of his first actions was the termination of the CBP-1 program, an online tool created during the Biden administration to organize the legal entry of immigrants through scheduled appointments. This system was seen by many immigration experts as an efficient solution, but Trump argued that it created loopholes that encouraged uncontrolled migration and made border monitoring more difficult. The program's termination caused immediate confusion among thousands of immigrants waiting for a chance to cross legally. Despite criticism, Trump defended the decision as a necessary step to prioritize national security. This measure was accompanied by strong rhetoric that anyone attempting to enter the country illegally would be sent back. One of the most impactful aspects of Trump's executive orders was the decision to directly involve the armed forces in managing the borders. With the declaration of a national emergency, Trump instructed the Pentagon to develop a comprehensive plan to seal the borders and protect the country's territorial integrity. The administration argues that this measure is necessary to combat national security threats, such as drug trafficking and cartel activity in border areas. However, this executive order has reignited a long-standing debate. Since the late 19th century, the Posse Comitatus Act has limited the use of the armed forces in domestic policing activities. Critics argue that involving the military directly in migration control could set dangerous precedents. On the other hand, supporters of the measure claim it represents a modern response to increasingly complex and critical national security challenges. The administration has also announced its intention to classify drug cartels as terrorist organizations. If implemented, this classification would allow for a more robust and flexible military response, significantly expanding their cooperation with domestic security agencies in both the United States and Mexico. Although controversial, this approach is seen by Trump's allies as an innovative solution to long-standing challenges. Reactions to the increased militarization of the border have been highly varied. While some segments of the population view the measure as a necessary step to strengthen national security, others question the costs of this approach, both financial and social. There is no doubt, however, that it redefines the role of the U.S. Armed Forces in peacetime. Another major point was the order limiting birthright citizenship. According to the new directive, children born in the United States to parents who are neither citizens nor permanent residents will no longer automatically receive American citizenship. The measure seeks to re-examine the application of the 14th Amendment in a modern context, aligning with Trump's campaign proposals to reform immigration laws. Despite facing legal challenges, including lawsuits from various organizations, the administration views this change as an important step toward ensuring that the benefits of citizenship are granted more selectively. The measures announced yesterday by Trump are already having significant impacts. The closure of the CBP-1 system has left tens of thousands of immigrants in a state of uncertainty, with many of them waiting for weeks on the Mexican side of the border and with appointments scheduled for the coming days now returning to square one. On the other hand, the reinstatement of the Remain in Mexico policy underscores the need for cooperation with the Mexican government. Under this policy, non-Mexican Latin American immigrants attempting to enter the United States through Mexico must stay in Mexico and wait while their entry authorization process is reviewed. Although Mexico has expressed reservations about the measure, both nations are seeking ways to mitigate the effects of these changes. Looking ahead, the Trump administration has signaled that these initial actions are only the beginning of a much larger plan to profoundly transform U.S. immigration policies. Among the initiatives expected in the coming months are new travel restrictions for countries considered high risk and increased international cooperation to combat illegal immigration networks. Additionally, the classification of drug cartels as terrorist organizations could pave the way for the use of more aggressive tools to combat trafficking, including economic sanctions and even transnational military operations. This would also require more complex negotiations with regional allies such as Mexico and Colombia, which play strategic roles in combating drug trafficking into the United States. Another key focus is the implementation of new technologies to enhance border monitoring. With the direct involvement of U.S. Armed Forces in border security, the country will have access to even more advanced means of monitoring and combating illegal immigration. Drones, already widely used for this purpose, will see expanded deployment, enabling greater control and much faster responses to incidents along the border. These measures reflect the Trump administration's strong commitment to prioritizing the country's security and sovereignty. On the other hand, it will also be crucial to observe how these plans are implemented and what reactions will arise, both domestically and internationally. The initial actions of the new Trump administration mark a significant shift in American immigration policy. With a renewed focus on security and sovereignty, these measures spark an essential debate about the future of U.S. borders and the role of the armed forces in fulfilling this mission. What do you think about this situation? We know that the United States has been a nation of immigrants since its founding. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before.